This is a community-supported legal education channel. Find out how you can support our mission at the links in the description below. So ABC News reports that 2 men have been arrested for selling a fake COVID cure in Colombia. Normally, I wouldn't necessarily care to bring you stupid news like that. You know, there's lots of fake COVID crap going around right now, and everybody who perpetuated it is stupid and hurting other people and just really shouldn't be spreading COVID misinformation. But we've been covering a particular story of a group of, or rather it's a family, right? It's a family. They are the Grennens, and they are from Florida, and they have been marketing Miracle Mineral Solution for 10 years now. And all it is a concoction. It's a binary concoction that becomes bleach when you mix it. And so they're trying to say that they don't have to be approved by the FDA or anything because they're selling these otherwise benign substances that only become bleach when they combine. But they labeled the bottles and they sold and marketed it as a cure for COVID, among many other things. And of course, that takes it right into the purview of the FDA and other regulatory bodies. Well, I was sent this by several of our viewers. Thank you very, very much. And it turns out that the Colombian officials have arrested 2 Florida men, both named Grennen. The Colombian prosecutor's office said Tuesday that Mark and Joseph Grennen were arrested in the beach town of Santa Marta and were shipping their Miracle Mineral Solution, chlorine dioxide, from their 2 clients in the United States. Which is super interesting because they're supposed to be under arrest for shenaniganery in Florida, but they were quote unquote overseas. I don't think we knew where they were overseas. Well, apparently they were in Colombia, and I guess they never returned, or they returned and got bail and returned back to Colombia or something. So they have been caught now, finally, and I guess will either be prosecuted by the Colombian authorities or they will be extradited back to the US for prosecution there. The Colombian prosecutors have said that 7 Americans died from using the substance. I'm not sure how the Colombian prosecutor is aware of that, but that's what it says here. And why wouldn't you die from using it? It's bleach, basically. So if you take anything above a threshold level, which who knows what that threshold is. It's probably different for different people in various levels of health and such. So you don't know what your threshold level is, and if you take it, you will be causing damage to your body internally, and if your body can't handle that, whose body can, we're all human, you're going to be doing damage, and if the damage is too much, well, you could end up dying or causing permanent damage. So it's pretty horrible. We really can't be letting people sell or market solutions that aren't approved by the FDA. So there's something else going on here, and it's really interesting. The church has sued the Department of Justice, and it smacks of sovereign citizen crap, and you have to see it. So this letter arrived just the end of July. It's addressed to the Union of the United States of America Common Law Superior Court, but it seems to have been sent to the federal court, and it's addressed to the people's First Amendment right to petition government for a redress, and then it has a return address on the bottom here of their attorney, who that's not where a return address goes, but okay, apparently the postal system figured this out and managed to get it delivered, as they do. The envelope contained this petition to the United States of America Superior Court of Record, parentheses, common law. I'm not even sure what that is. There is no United States Superior Court of Record. That's not the court that was created. They are the United States District Courts. It's fine if you want to disagree on what you call them. I don't care, as long as you do your job, I guess, in the allegations and the complaint. What they've said here is that this is a petition, and then they list like the contents. They say Genesis 2 Church of Healing is a private international sovereign church. I don't know that you get to be sovereign. A claim of trespass rights with intent. I don't know what any of that means. documents attached, cover letter, Superior Court of Record document, whatever that is, Exhibits A and B, proof of unlawful access, whatever that is, and I guess they have a USB flash drive, which we don't have, because that's obviously going to be just something the court has a copy of. And the cover letter continues, I guess. Let's see, that was 1 page. This is 2 pages. And the cover letter is stamped by the U.S. District Court, the District of Maine in Portland. Okay, so that's the court that received this. Was it sent by that attorney? I sure hope not. And also, there's a prohibition against ghostwriting, so their attorney can't just ghostwrite and not enter their appearance. So this says, if a people is denied their right to petition the court, be advised of the consequences listed below. A trespass against the First Amendment right to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances, which is really interesting that they've cited to a violation of the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances while they are literally petitioning a court, the government, for a redress of grievances. It's sort of self-evident that that's not an actual violation since they have petitioned the court, and I'm reading it. I got it from the court. It's there. They've petitioned the government. It's literally called Petition to the United States. So, okay, that's a little strange. And then they say in an asterisk, this is a declared act of tyranny against the people in their own nation and countries therein. It is also a felony which shall come with a prison sentence. Okay, the Grennans don't get to impart or impose a prison sentence on somebody. And there's also laws against threatening criminal prosecution when you don't have any basis for it. But I digress. They want to trespass against the Fourth Amendment right for the people to remain secure in their effects. So they're saying search and seizure was violated. They're saying seizing a man's right is extortion under the law and is a felony. Just so everyone's aware, extortion is probably a felony under various state laws, and extortion requires no underlying basis in law to make the extortive claim. So if I have a legal claim against you and I say you'd better settle with me or else I'm going to pursue you in court, that's perfectly okay. If I don't have a legal claim and I say you'd better settle with me or else I'm going to bankrupt you in court, that's some kind of extortion if it reaches a level of intent, requisite level of mens rea or criminal intent. A trespass against the Fifth Amendment right. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. That's due process. So they're saying that their due process rights were violated. That would be where they were prosecuted or something without a meaningful opportunity to respond. Let's say that their rights were adjudicated without notice or something. That's exactly the opposite of what's happened here. They got notice so many times. They even actively responded to the court saying that they were not going to respond, which that itself evinces they had notice. So their due process rights were very likely not violated here. When a public servant in all three branches of government denies the right to petition the court, there is no public servant in all three branches of government. That doesn't exist. A violation of the People's 1776 Declaration of Independence. Okay, the Declaration of Independence is a very cool founding document. It's meaningless. It hasn't been incorporated into U.S. law. The Constitution is the incorporation of the Declaration of Independence into U.S. law. Whatever rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all men are created equal, things that were in the Declaration of Independence had to make it into the Constitution if they want to be law. The Declaration is great, and we love our country's Declaration of Independence and all that. It's beautiful, wonderful document, but it is not the operative law. Trespass against Maine's Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, all power is inherent in the people, all free governments are founded in their authority and instituted for their benefit. No idea what the claim is there. They're saying that Maine's Constitution states that the government is free for the people to institute. I don't know what that means. Where is the allegation that these people who are in court don't have access to the courts? I think you might see something in a moment. Most importantly, all these rights are ordained to the people by God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth. Once again, the cognitive dissonance is deafening. If you look at the very same First Amendment that they just cited up here, the right to peaceably assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances, there's also one in there about the government not adopting a religion or not infringing upon the people's right of religion. So then how could a court in this part 7 here, in this paragraph 7, how could a court, a government court, order a religious doctrine one way or the other? Obviously they can't. And they go on by denying the right to petition the court, which is obviously not being denied because you're in the court here. You committed a declared act of tyranny, okay, which in nations of the past before America had existed was punishable by death. Lots of things were punishable by death. Lots of things resulted in death. Lots of people fought over things. Please do not take advantage of the more forgiving nature of America's government by the people and deprive their rights. By we the people of the United States of America. So, of course, the people, right, is the government, is the people through their government. So here they are trying to say that they are the people. They aren't. They are the defendants, and the people is actually the government in these cases. So let's see what else they've filed. So they have also cited to an Associated Press article. Federal prosecutors say a Bradenton man and his 3 sons are facing federal charges after they illegally sold a bleach-like chemical. After they illegally sold a bleach-like chemical mixture as a miracle cure for coronavirus and other diseases, etc., etc. It even says here that in the bottom that the response by the Grennans was, "We will not be participating in any of your unconstitutional orders, summons, etc. Again and again, I have written to you all that you have no authority over our church." So when they say they didn't get due process notice and didn't have a meaningful opportunity to respond, they did get notice and they did have a meaningful opportunity to respond. They chose not to respond, and they chose to disregard any authority that the court has, and that doesn't mean they were denied due process of any kind. And so they have filed this lawsuit against the United States of America, the Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing, against the Department of Justice and the FDA. And the defendants say they are sanctioned by we the people of the United States of America. Again, I don't think they know how that works. The government is the we the people of the United States. They claim trespass against rights with intent, unlawful seizure and deprivation of God-given unalienable rights, USA's preamble, USA's Amendment 1, 4, 5, 8, 10, Bill of Rights, International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights. But wait a second, so they're recognizing international authority over them as well? They want to recognize that no court has any authority over them except this International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, which would have to be adjudicated by a court. So who has authority over them? I'm still unclear. And as we continue to go through this, see if you can figure out what the claim is. They have to state a claim upon which a court can grant a remedy, or else it gets thrown out. There's just nothing here. So you need to find a claim that can be remedied by a court. It doesn't have to be a true or false claim. It just has to be a valid legal claim that could be adjudicated. And once adjudicated, if they win, the court could grant a remedy. That's the pleading standard. This is a dual charge lawsuit against both organizations in party of the defendants, whatever that means. In party of the defendants? They're not in party of the defendants. They're in the plaintiff. They're the... Oh, I see. They're saying they're together as a party of the defendants. The tribunal is independent of the magistrate in this court of record. Okay, that's true. A magistrate in the district court would be one level below a district court judge. No members of the Bar Association are allowed to appear. Find the basis for that. Go ahead. No docket numbers generated for this court may alter the venue. Again, I do not understand what they're saying here. We the people of the Republic of the Union of the United States of America, which is a very interesting title for a country that doesn't exist, whom are members of the body of the International Sovereign Church, the Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing, hereby now declare the United States of America Common Law Superior Court now open and in session pursuant to the charges, restoration, and remedy relief. Yeah, this is sovereign citizen language. They're trying to declare themselves masters of their own court, and saying that they have some kind of authority. They don't. And as you've seen, they've now been arrested and are going to be facing actual authority. So they write about the Bill of Rights history. There's a lot of this. Do we really want to go through another 12 pages of this crap? So we're going to skim their next 10 pages of meaningless lawsuit. So 1789, Congress transmitted to the state legislatures 12 proposed amendments. Great. James Madison proposed the Bill of Rights. Great. 2 additional articles were proposed, but only 10 final articles were ratified. Great. The U.S. preamble to the American Republic authoritatively states, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty." Yes, 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 these are the words in the Constitution. Those are not operative words all by themselves. It's true that those rights are protected, and you can actually quote to the Constitution and its protection for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In fact, we saw a case recently where the Flint, Michigan water crisis and the not just negligent but willful mishandling by the Flint, Michigan authorities causing people to ingest lead violated their right to life as embodied by the Constitution. There was more to it, though. You have to show the connection. You can't just say, "You have failed to ensure domestic tranquility." Full stop. That's not a legal claim. You must make out your claim. What did the government do that did not ensure domestic tranquility or blessings of liberty? They say the Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing also preserves all their rights under international covenant of civil and political rights. I don't think that's a valid thing. There is no such thing as international sovereignty. Again, by definition, international is a different definition than sovereign. You cannot be an international sovereign. A nation is sovereign, so international is between two sovereigns. The Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing possess the preserved right to the assistance of counsel. Great, they can have the assistance of counsel. No one has ever denied them the assistance of counsel. I believe the judge even gave them extra time to secure counsel. When they said that they did not have counsel, the judge gave them extra time. So again, where's the claim? This court is the person and suit of the sovereign, the body politic of we the people, and no organization, neither any government departments such as the Department of Justice or FDA, do not possess any lawful standing against the people's church in this court without trespassing a multitude of rights. The definition of court, according to Black's Law Dictionary, the person and suit of the sovereign, the place where the sovereign sojourns with his regal retinue, wherever that may be. I don't know that that's a great definition of a court. Is that even Black's Law Dictionary's definition of a court? I don't know. Maybe it is. But that's, again, not the law. They're trying to give people a high-level definition of what a court is. A court is the place where a sovereign allows the people to redress grievances or brings cases against people who are violating the law. That does not mean that you can then go ahead and say, well, your court doesn't meet Black's Law definition, so your court is not valid. That doesn't mean anything. Not at all. Black's Law Dictionary is not a source of law. It is a summary of, it's like the chicken and egg problem. It's the chicken, not the egg. The egg would be the source and the chicken would be the result. Yes, you have a chicken and egg problem with the chicken and the egg in evolution. You don't have a chicken and egg problem with definitions of what courts are. The Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing is not a franchise. They're not subject to any statute or code. Bullshit, they are. There is no immunity for any person that trespasses God-given unalienable rights. Well, sure, if you believe that there's an afterlife where we are all judged, sure, great. That's when God will judge you, sure. President Donald Trump has no grounds to oppose this court in any way, and I don't think POTUS practices tyranny, so I expect that POTUS shall not act unlawfully. It is his duty to support Genesis 2 Church. He is the people's right hand. Just like the Son sits at the right hand of God the Father, President Trump sits on the right hand of the people. That's just the way it is. I'm going to use that line the next time I'm in court. Your Honor, that's just the way it is. The U.S. Department of Justice and co-conspirator FDA have trespassed the people of America's ensured domestic tranquility. This is starting to get repetitive. Used unlawful government intrusion, trespassing. Within Constitution embraces not only the right to worship God according to the dictates of one's conscience, but also the right to do so, or forbear to do any act for conscience sake. They're citing Black's Law Dictionary again, and a couple cases that say that there is such a thing as religious freedom. What they're forgetting is to go and read the rest of the case. Your religious freedom does exist, and it does come up against limitations. So you can have religious freedom, but you can't use your religious freedom to thwart the law or hurt people. Also, the irony of using the Constitution to say that you are above the Constitution is weird. They either recognize the authority or they don't. So here they are appealing to the authority and recognizing the authority while saying we don't recognize your authority. It's very strange and obviously insane. So they continue with a whole bunch of very strange claims. There is no type of restraining order in existence which can lawfully restrain the church. Well, except that there is. And they were caught by the authorities and they were arrested, weren't they? They confirmed to possess international sovereignty from all governments of the earth in the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act of 1976. I don't even know what that is. I'm not sure that that's something that applies to domestic churches being prosecuted by domestic law, but okay. So more trespassing, more no due process, more cruel and unusual punishment, powers retained by the people, trespassed unalienable rights of our God-given rights, liberty and security of a person, arbitrary arrest, detention, etc. So it's, this is the death rattle of a screaming child throwing a tantrum, except this is an adult who has the faculties to understand all of this. Here we go. Now they're saying that it's false arrest and imprisonment to charge somebody with a crime and then arrest them, that it's involuntary servitude to charge someone with a crime, arrest them, and then they have to do labor. That it's libel, probably because they're saying they've been defamed or lies were told about them. That it's extortion because it's under color of law. I'm not gonna be convincing them today, but no, it's not under color of law. It is the law. They have a valid legal claim. That's the government. The government has a valid legal claim. Larceny, I guess they're saying things were, they were stolen so much. So they ask for lots of millions of dollars for their various offenses. Trespass, $2 million. Trespass, $2 million. Trespass, $2 million. Okay, so it's unalienable rights, $2 million. Preamble and Constitution, $2 million. First Amendment rights, $2 million. Fourth Amendment rights, $2 million. Fifth Amendment rights, $2 million. Eighth Amendment rights, which is excessive fines and cruel and unusual punishments, $2 million. Article 9 of this international civil political rights court or whatever, $2 million. And they're saying they demand $14 million to be granted to the church, I guess. They demand indemnification from the church, etc., etc., etc. They put their fingerprints on here. What the...
Blood?
I hope that... I don't think that's blood.
Well, that should be oxidated by now.
It would be oxidated. It would be a lot darker, yeah. What the heck? Ah. Weirdos. The Common Law Superior Court, after 21 days, will go into default judgment. So this is the Spider-Man meme. This is like, no, you. Like, no, you got us in default, we'll get you in default. That's what this is. Wow. No members of the Bar Association are allowed to appear, neither represent anyone in this court, and if any decision is attempted to be made by a bar member, they shall automatically be vacated, and whomever made the decision shall be put in contempt of court and shall be subject to fines of $1 million to each people separately whom is a member of the Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing. So now they're declaring themselves to have the authority to arrest people. By the way, do you remember that story we did about the sovereign citizen who was in jail and was crying, "Please help, please send help"? They said the same thing. We have the authority to arrest people, and they sent some demands for resolution of cases just like this. And so they got arrested for that and sentenced to, I think it was dozens of years, I think it was like 20 or 30 years or more in jail. So yeah, this is only going to be added to their charges if this continues enough to the point that the DA or that the U.S. attorney decides that the demands here come too close to holding yourself out to be some authority to arrest and imprison and incarcerate. The court grants all members of the church entitled to recover their remedies in this case with liberty interest in doing so, and shall use all lawful means necessary to the lawful, right? That like they want the law to apply all of a sudden. The Department of Justice is demanded to release American sovereigns Jonathan and Jordan Grennan. Okay, so this was written before Mark and Joseph had anything happen to them, and of course they recently had this happen to them where they got arrested, right? So that's what they wrote there. How do you think the court handled it? Plaintiffs filed a document that evidently purports to be the action of what plaintiffs describe as a common law court. In the event plaintiffs ask this court for any relief to validate the purported action of the so-called common law court, I recommend the court dismiss the matter. This is the magistrate judge writing to the district court. Magistrate judges will do this preliminary work on lighter matters or frequent matters, or just to take some of the load off the court, and then they'll make recommendations to the district court. First, plaintiffs have neither paid the $400 filing fee nor filed an application to proceed in forma pauperis. Accordingly, dismissal is warranted for that reason alone. Even if plaintiffs had paid the filing fee, dismissal is appropriate because this court lacks subject matter jurisdiction over plaintiffs' filing. As the court recently explained, issues of subject matter jurisdiction can be raised on the court's own, sua sponte, at any time because they relate to the fundamental Article 3 limitations on federal courts. This is where the court's going to quote from the Constitution and actually be correct for as opposed to the Genesis people. Courts have determined that this principle includes sua sponte dismissals prior to service of process on the named defendants when the complaint is frivolous or obviously lacks merit. Because plaintiff is neither a prisoner nor proceeding in forma pauperis in district court, provisions of the law permitting sua sponte dismissal of complaints which fail to state a claim are inapplicable. However, frivolous complaints are subject to dismissal pursuant to the inherent authority of the court, even when the filing fee has been paid. In addition, because a court lacks subject matter jurisdiction over an obviously frivolous complaint, dismissal prior to service is permitted. Here, by any objective measure, plaintiffs' filing, in which plaintiffs purport to make findings and impose sanctions, is obviously frivolous and without merit. They literally tried to make themselves out to be a court. The court therefore lacks jurisdiction over plaintiffs' filing. Based on the foregoing analysis, I recommend this court dismiss this matter. A party may file objections to those specified portions of the magistrate judge's report or proposed findings or recommendations entered pursuant to the law for which brand new review by the district court is sought, together with a supporting memorandum within 14 days. That was the 28th day of July. It is now the 13th day of August, and they have not filed such an objection. So that's that. And I don't expect that we're going to hear anything more from the court on that. But, of course, the Genesis 2 Church of Healing, Health and Healing or whatever is going to try and, use that as some kind of proof that they're sovereign or something, because that's what they do. They would never, ever, ever in their entire lives be able to wrap their heads around using outside evidence to inform their internal monologue and changing their internal monologue or narrative to fit the outside evidence. Instead, they know that they're right very narcissistically, and instead of incorporating any outside evidence and changing their minds like normal people and sane people do, they're going to try and make the world conform to their internal view. It's very narcissistic. So here then is the actual order from the court against the church after Mark and Joseph Grennan defaulted, and we're going to just go over the first page of this. This action arises out of defendants' marketing and distribution of a product called Miracle Mineral Solution, a drug defendants claim is a cure for COVID-19 and other serious diseases. MMS consists of 22.4% sodium chlorite, 5% sodium chloride, 1% trace minerals, and 71.6% purified water. It is sold with an activator that contains 4% hydrochloric acid. When MMS and the activator are combined, as directed by the product labeling, a chemical reaction occurs yielding chlorine dioxide, a chemical commonly used as an industrial bleach. The court then goes into how they have founded a church and sold sacraments, given people instructions to use MMS as a sacrament, claimed that the coronavirus is curable by MMS. They have sold and distributed it in interstate commerce, which brings it within the purview of the FDA. And the FDA then issued warning letters to which the Grennans actually responded, saying, "We are not under your authority in any regard to your agencies. We do not need your approval for MMS. You have no authority over us. We can say cure, heal, and treat as a church. Don't need you, sick, approval or authorization. There will be no corrective actions on our part. You have no authority over us. We will not stop our church sacraments. We will not comply. You don't have to cease anything in our regard to our church. You cease and desist harassing us." And of course, that turned out, not to be true. And isn't this just great evidence that they actually did receive the FDA's notices and the court's notices and simply didn't want to respond? Well, in the world of karma, it has come back around, and now they are arrested in Colombia. And who knows, I'm imagining, I don't want to insult Colombia in any way, I'm just imagining the prison system in Colombia might be just a tiny bit different than the prison system in the US, and maybe they would have preferred getting arrested in the US than in Colombia. But, somebody else can speak to that. That's just my anecdotal understanding, not even based on any real first-hand evidence. So the judge issued a permanent injunction. I'm not going to go over the entire thing here because we already did that in another video. Basically, they are now forbidden from selling MMS, from distributing MMS, from mislabeling MMS. They have to issue refunds, they have to put a notice on their website, they have to allow inspections, they have to cooperate with the inspections, and there is a special master, a special court-appointed person to oversee their compliance as well and report back to the court. So I'm sure we're going to hear about all of that, and there will be more updates in this case. I'm personally looking forward to finding out what is going to happen to Mark and Joseph Grennan, who tried to, I guess, flee prosecution by either fleeing to or remaining in Colombia, trying to avoid US prosecution. And it seems like they're not going to win on that one. All right, that's our show, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and this is Lawful Masses, your favorite legal news and education program here on YouTube, Floatplane, and Twitch. We are community supported, and we only exist because of your monthly support on patreon.com/ljfrench and sponsors.com/law. Thank you in August to our $50 plus supporters: Nicely Done Defense, Wes Delge, Citizen of the Sovereign, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Evie, Kyle Mudrock, Spirit Bear, Jan DeGray, Benjamin Hightoff, Steven, Blackleaf, Cute Grills in Your Area, Longreach Jones, Definitely Not Prenda Law, Ugly Grill, Shiloh T, Rudolph Bescherer Jr., Oscar the Prophet, Jay Dixon, Hot Girls in Your Area, Ammonite, Engie, Brandon Abel, Torpidon, and Creative Corruptions. And thank you to the $5 plus supporters who... And thank you to the $5 plus supporters who will be in the description of the videos. I love you all. I will see you in the videos that drop. Bye.